This is Cringy Conversations with Mom, and this episode is about teen boys and stress, how they're able to cope with it, but also how do we recognize it, and what does it look like in our teenage boys. I really want to emphasize teenage boys because I feel like they don't get the opportunity to be seen or heard or understood in today's world when they're feeling so much pressure, and pressure that we don't even understand or know about until it's addressed. So it doesn't always look like anxiety like how adults carry it. Sometimes it looks for worry, and worry is more anxiety. Anxiety is when you have this consistent worriness. I worry about someone's gonna die, I worry about my parents dying, I'm worrying about this, that, and I can't sleep. Whereas depression is like this consistent sadness, hopelessness. It lasts for like two more weeks, and it's just this I can't get out of my head sadness. It looks like not trying to get out of bed. It looks like you feel numb, your brain just it can't get out of being sad. So anxiety and depression go hand in hand because they have the same symptoms, but they're not the same. So when you're looking at anxiety and depression in your teens, what I want you to see is, do they show it in anger? I have a teen that when he's anxious or stressed or has depression, he shows it in anger. I see that in education where boys will lash out, they'll hit, they'll punch, they might withdraw, they will shut down completely. So there's these extremes of shutting down and not talking, but then there's also the extreme of I'm going to hit and be angry and yell and project my frustration out on you. So what are ways that we can help our teens acknowledge what they're feeling? First of all, ask them, are you okay? Are you feeling overwhelmed by something? Do you feel like talking? Also telling them to move around, move their body. Sometimes nobody wants to get up. When you have anxiety or depression, you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to move. But if you step outside just for a few minutes, your feet touches the grass, you can breathe fresh air. It doesn't take it away, but it does help it. There's also these techniques of tapping your face, tapping your skin, touching the nerves in your body. Those are ways to help come back and to soften the anxiety. Where are they feeling this pressure and this stress? Our teenage boys are going through a lot right now, not just in the real world, but also socially too. There isn't just a pressure being popular at school, but there's also this social pressure online, where they're on Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or Instagram, of how many followers they have, how do they look when they do it, are they being made fun of there? So it doesn't just come from social media, but it comes from school as well. Also within sports, there's a different type of pressure when it comes to being an athlete. There's a pressure being at school and tests and how much you're expected to know at a certain age, but sometimes we have delays and that overwhelms us. If we have too much going on in our lives, if we have sports, church, school, our expectations for our parents, work, and then just daily life, that can overwhelm someone. So if we're able to take small steps and help them achieve one or two things, that can help them. Limiting their screen time is really important. On Instagram, what I really like is the fact that you can control how long they are on Instagram. You control who their friends are. You're able to see who their friends are and who's trying to add them as friends. And you can see their messages as well. So those are reasons why I like that. Sleep. Now, Sleep, you can tell as well. If there's this extreme where they're sleeping too much, they're going to bed early and they're sleeping in and they're taking naps, that's too much. Now, if they're not sleeping enough or they're staying up at night, that is an excessive behavior. Those are clues to know that there's something going on with your teen. Making sure they have a sleep routine, making sure you communicate with them, what time you go to bed and what time you wake up, and allow yourself some rest during the day if you need to take a nap, but try to create a routine, and that helps structure and help the anxiety. Also, talking in small moments. Our kids don't need these long lectures. They don't need hours of like blah, 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 blah. If you're in the car on the way home from practice, how was practice? How was school? If you're just going to run an errand, how is your friendship with this person? How is this girl? What happened with this teacher? Follow up. Just little tiny snippets of just connecting with your teen helps them know that you care. To me, that's really important. Sometimes I pry too much. I'll be honest, sometimes I try too hard to talk, and I overwhelm my kids. So I'm finding this balance as a parent. And also as a parent, I want you to know that it's not your fault if your child has anxiety or depression. It is not because you parented them wrong. It's nothing to be embarrassed about, and it's okay. It's okay for your child to not be okay. That's why as parents, we're here to help them, to help be that person that makes them feel seen, heard, and understood. So those are tools that my husband and I are working on to help our teens and preteens with when they're feeling overwhelmed and anxious and stressed out and even depressed. So I want you to know that anxiety and depression is not a weakness. Talking about it is actually a strength. Acknowledging that you have it is a strength. It's a signal that our body needs support. It needs help. It's like when we get sick, you know that you need to start taking certain vitamins and getting rest. It's the same with anxiety and depression. Our body is signaling to you that it needs something. And just because your teen might roll their eyes at you, I get the eye roll all the time. My husband are always like, did you just roll your eyes at me? It's normal. They're listening to you. They care, and they just want you to know, they just want to make sure that you care as well. So this is my conversation, and if you have any comments or concerns, you are always welcome to message me, and I hope that you are able to watch this. Thank you.